Hello everybody, MattTGM here, and welcome back to the Fairy Tail Arc Rankings. As the 100-Year Quest anime continues to dazzle and disappoint in equal measures, I return to finish what I started so long ago. We're back and better than ever, using Premiere Pro to continue on in this arduous ranking series. Last time we covered the Galuna Island arc, the first arc in the series that I genuinely liked with no major complaints. The commentary is getting more positive and I'm hyped to continue. Let's get right on to the next entry. Fairy Tail arc ranking number 12 is the Sun Village arc. Let's go. It's pretty good. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, but actually, I was thinking on the script for a couple of days. By that I mean all of the year and a bit it's taken me to make this video, and realized, wow, this arc is just pretty good overall. I mean, it's number 12 on the list, and I consider it to be a good arc in Fairy Tail, but I don't really have enough passion or disdain for this arc to go on a long rant about it. The arc has fights all across the board, a couple of them being pretty cool and paired with some decent animation, courtesy of them going back to their new studio after they got done with the filler episodes, but none of that really provoked an emotional response from me, so I can't really talk about them the way I've done in the past or sing their praises like I will with arcs in the future. I didn't really enjoy the treasure hunters in any way except for the Team 4-star voice acting, seeing as apparently normal people can fight the strongest mages guild in Fiore. The allegedly anticipated rematch between Urza and Minerva also ended up being largely pointless, for a reason I'll explain soon. I feel for this series of ranking videos, at least so far, it can largely be boiled down to I give my opinion on Fairy Tail's fights grouped up by their arcs, seeing as I approach the Eclipse Spirit arc from that perspective, and it certainly influenced my takes on the others as well. For a shonen battle-focused anime, I don't think this is an unacceptable point of view. The main point are the fights after all. But when they don't do much for me, I need to analyze the other aspects of the arc. So let's just do that. Let's go over a couple of the high points. Meeting a member of the Ishgar 4 was fun, even if he is a weird tree guy. And he's even a founding member of Fairy Tail. I can't wait to see the other Ishgar 4 members later. I know for sure that two of them won't end up being massive disappointments. Flair's redemption was somewhat expected, seeing that she's the token nice teammate of Raventail from the Grand Magic Games, and I had no problem with it. I was happy enough to accept her redemption, seeing as she actually helps in combat and she has a personal connection to the village, which is the focus of this arc. On that note, I enjoy the mystery of the frozen village. It's a very creepy environment that our characters have to explore, a town of giants frozen in time. Discovering it was all done by one human at the end was quite the dramatic reveal too. And despite being largely apathetic to the fights as a whole, appreciating them but not overly so, I do actually give quite a lot of credit to Grey versus Doriate. This giant demon dude has the ability to transform targets into children, lowering their magic power, physical ability, and reigniting alt traumas. Seeing as Grey is dealing with magic ice, moon drip, demons, and himself being a child, he's basically gotten all of his traumas thrown in his face all at once, as you'd know if you watched the Galuna Island arc last episode. After being snapped out of his panic by Ultir, who is naked for some reason, the fight properly begins, and it's the best in the arc by quite a way. Grey's Ice Make magic allows for the most creativity in battle, and it was used well here against a big dumb brute, setting traps for him. The scene where he defeats Doriate is cool, absorbing power from the ice and blasting it back at him, which is good foreshadowing on several fronts. To address something negative about the arc, I'm honestly a bit tired of Grey and Natsu bickering for no reason, given we're past episode 220 by now. It's supposed to have become a bigger deal at the time of the arc taking place, but no reason is given for this. It's not funny enough to be played for comedy, and it's not serious enough to be played for drama. It's just a waste of time. Just my thoughts on that whole mess. Back to the positives, the moment I remember most from Sun Village is when Silver shows up at the end in front of that gravestone. Yes, this is a moment hardly connected to the arc and it lasts for a couple of minutes at most, but this man is too badass for me not to shout him out. Plus, he's the whole reason the arc happened. He's the one who froze the village. I also enjoyed the conversation with Atlas Flame, a fire dragon Natsu met in the Grand Magic Games arc, and he gives us our first hint towards END, which will really come into play later. This arc feels more like a prelude or warm-up to the Tartaros arc, which we won't be seeing on this list for a long time. However, that doesn't make it bad. It's a solid fun time. It's nice to have an arc that doesn't have the fate of the world at stake after the Grand Magic Games, and it doesn't drag on for too long like the Eclipse Spirit arc. I originally planned to sum up this arc in about 2 minutes, but upon rewatching it, I felt there was a lot more to appreciate than I remembered. The problem remains that I don't have many strong feelings towards Sun Village, positive or negative, hence it ends up lower on the list and with a shorter discussion. But like I said last time, every arc from this point on is good, so I feel, or at least I hope, Sun Village got the respect from me that it deserves. Now, that's the end of the Sun Village arc, but that seems like too short of a video after I made you guys wait so long. So, here's a double feature. The 11th best arc in Fairy Tail is Phantom Lord. I see the quality around the same as Sun Village, maybe a little lower objectively, but I'm largely nostalgia driven, and I remember it a lot more than I do the Sun Village arc, and I have a lot more emotion towards it. It revolves around Lucy's dad hiring these douchebags, Phantom Lord, to kidnap Lucy and bring her back to him. You know, brilliant parenting tactics. Unfortunately, Phantom Lord elect to trash the Fairy Tail Guild Hall and assault 3 of his members instead, sparking a full-scale guild war, which is the primary focus of the arc. This arc is a bit more standard than the Sun Village arc, as in we can sum it up with a timeline of significant fights and a few conversations in the middle, interspersed with tons of interruptive flashbacks. There are a handful of standout fights in the arc, such as Natsu vs Gargiel, which was the best fight in the series up to this point, but we'll get to that when it happens. Things initially kick off with a big battle at the Phantom Lord Guild Hall, which Fairy Tail is winning handily, until Makarov is taken from behind by one of their mages and drained of all his magic power, incapacitating him and signaling a retreat. I'm not sure why, you guys were winning regardless and you still have Urza, but hey, whatever. Phantom Lord then proceeds to drive their mobile guild hall to Fairy Tail's front door, and try to blow it down with their giant Jupiter cannon crotch. Urza, being the Chad that she is, takes the entire laser head on, but is incapacitated, and then we get into the main bit of the arc. Fairy Tail needs to take out the Element 4 powerful mages of Phantom Lord, to stop the casting of Abyss Break, a spell that will be game over. Of course, Mystigan and Laxus, the powerful mages we got introduced to at the start of the Galuna Island arc, are nowhere to be found, and as far as the anime is concerned, guild arts may as well not exist yet, so Fairy Tail is limited in their options, with Makarov still incapacitated. The other members of the guild get to fight shadow clones in the background to remind you that yes, they're still here, and there's a brief scuffle between Loki and some other goons trying to protect Lucy, but the main fights between the Element 4, Gargiel and Jose are all I'm going to focus on, because everything else is mainly just background detail. Natsu takes out the Fire Mage in fairly underwhelming fashion. Same thing for Elfman and the Earth Mage, though we do see some more depth to Elfman via some flashbacks to how he and Mirajane lost Lizana, their little sister. On a job a couple of years ago, Elfman tried to take over a beast, only to lose control, and accidentally kill Lizana, hence why he's never tried to do it since. However, he successfully uses Take Over Beast Soul here to its fullest, and maintains his full control in what was a rather satisfying moment, though Lizana is still dead, and she's never coming back. The next fight on the list is Grey vs Juvia, the water girl of the Element 4, and it's not really much of a fight, let's be honest. Juvia sees Grey for the snack that he is, and basically gives up immediately, only throwing half-hearted offense at him, which leads to some interesting moments to say the least. I've neglected to comment on Juvia and Grey's relationship in the show so far, it's not really come up yet, so I'll just say right now that it has its ups and it has its downs. However, I think this is a good introduction to Juvia and to their future bond. Even after Grey enrages Juvia into actually fighting back, he wins, because as we all know, ice beats water. Shut up, Pokemon! Seeing Grey go out of his way to save Juvia is definitely a good character moment, seeing as Fairy Tail are the good guys after all, and it's from there that we'll get their growing dynamic throughout the rest of the show. The Airbender of Phantom Lord was built up as a serious threat, maybe even bigger than the Guildmaster Jose. When Natsu has to fight him while already being tired, things go south in a hurry. All seems lost, until... Hell yeah, Urza is back on her feet. Time for an epic battle between the strongest mages in both guilds. Oh. Well, that's pretty cool too, I guess. Little did I know that this would be a sign of bad things to come. From here, we get into the best part of the arc, Natsu vs Gargiel. This fight is spectacular, 2 Dragon Slayers clashing for the first time with fury and magic. Natsu gets beaten to a pulp, but thanks to the assistance of his friend Lucy and her new friend Bojack Horseguy, he is able to reignite his fire and pull through in spectacular fashion. This remains one of my favourite fights in the show, with brutality, creativity, teamwork, decent animation, and the victory actually seeming attainable. You'll see what I mean by that last part in later arcs. It's also here where I would like to give praise to Todd Haberkorn for screaming his heart out as Natsu. It's genuinely one of my favourite performances in anime.
I'm gonna make you pay for what you did to my friends! Messing with Fairy Tail is the biggest mistake you've ever made!
The only major critique of this fight I have is that when the guild hall gets destroyed, the major flashbacks do break up the pacing pretty badly. But I can forgive it here because these flashbacks are actually somewhat relevant to the situation. Of course, Gargiel was only the second in command of Phantom Lord. The real big daddy is Jose, and Urza is off to face him. For once, she is completely outmatched. Makes sense, seeing as she just got shot by Jupiter and then one-shot the Wind guy. If this was later in Fairy Tail, she'd have some new insta-win armor to equip, or she could just Urza her way through. But this is early in the show, where we might still believe in stakes. Makarov then comes back with a genuinely cool entrance, healing Urza and making everything seem quite a lot more hopeful. Oh yeah, he's been recovering off screen. Mystigan helped with that, and he did some cool stuff. And he ate an apple through his mask. That's real magic right there. The brief fight between Makarov and Jose is pretty cool, mainly full of spectacle more than anything of substance as a fight. Though, it's cool how they actually battle with magic spells, and not just magic-enhanced punches, something I wish there was more of in Fairy Tail. The finale with Makarov activating Fairy Law is one of my favourite moments in all of Fairy Tail Season 1, and it really shows why, at least for now, Makarov is the most powerful wizard in Fairy Tail, and he's the guild master for a reason. Minus Gildarts, who again, in the anime, doesn't exist right now. The arc then ends with Lucy taking a trip to her dad to tell him fuck you in person, and then life continues as normal for the Fairy Tail Guild as they start to rebuild their guild hall. It's a happy ending without any real caveats. That's why I like Phantom Lord so much, it's just a good, enjoyable arc. Galuna Island was a huge step up from Lullaby, and this is a big step up from Galuna Island. We get good fights, we get introduced to future mainstays like Gargiel and Juvia, we get to see another proper guild in the land of Fiore. It's all around really good stuff. My only other criticism besides the flashbacks would be that Lucy doesn't really get to do much in this arc that's focused on her and her backstory, seeing as she gets kidnapped and loses her keys at the beginning, then gets rescued, then gets re-kidnapped until she saves Natsu with Sagittarius. However, the moments we do get with her are very sweet, with the Fairy Tail Guild members doing all that they're doing, mainly for her sake, protecting her, and Natsu saving her when she jumps out of the tower is cool as well. At this point in the show, it still does feel like Lucy could feasibly be the main character, in spite of her relative lack of action and no major fight wins so far. One final bit of praise I want to give to this arc is the focus on Makarov and how he sees the guild members as his own family. When the guild hall is attacked, he laughs that off, but when its members are attacked, he instantly declares war on Phantom Lord. His speeches about protecting his children are honestly quite sweet, and this arc shows him off as the powerhouse that he still is. I enjoyed every scene with him in it. So yeah, that's about all I have to say on these two arcs. One is an intriguing mystery with some mediocre fights and solid character moments, and one is a straightforward battle arc with some good fights and solid character moments. We're in the good tier of Fairy Tail arcs now, leaving trash like Daphne and mediocrity like the Eclipse arc far behind, and it only gets better from here on out. I'll try not to spend 2 years before the next episode release though, I owe you guys that much. If you like this arc double feature, do let me know, and I may do more like it in the future. It would indeed save time on waiting for the next arc to be ranked. If you did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe for more MattTGM content. I do reviews and breakdowns on a lot more things besides just Fairy Tail arcs, so hopefully some of those are to your liking. If you want to support the channel further, please consider donating to my Patreon, it'd be extremely appreciated. With all that said, I think we're done here. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next week in the next video.